Okay. Okay. Hi, you guys. So I'm super excited tonight. We have Cyndi Ryan on the Zoom with us, and she is a triple diamond, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And she's from New Jersey, which is where I was born and raised. Whoop, whoop. Um, and she's going to talk to us about how she works her business. And so I reached out to a group of triples and above, and I said, I'm looking for someone who doesn't do host to post and doesn't do mass messaging, because I feel like we're hearing a ton about that right now. And I wanted to introduce something a little bit different to our team, and just show you guys that the business can be worked so many different ways. It's just about being consistent and being passionate and having that excitement. So Cyndi said, I don't do either of those. I work my business elsewhere. So we are going to talk a little bit about that with her tonight. So if you just want to introduce yourself, where you're from, maybe background, all of that good stuff.
Sure. So like she said, I'm Cyndi Ryan. I'm from New Jersey. I am a triple diamond, and I started in 2013. So back in 2013, I had lost weight, and my best friend wanted to sell the wraps in her salon. And she's like, please, 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 you've got to try it. And I'm like, no, it's water loss. It's voodoo. It's temporary. That can't work. I know what I'm doing. I'll stick to Weight Watchers and Jazzercise. So she threw it in that she wanted to sell them in the salon, and she knew my stomach was a mess. And the words she used were, if it works on your stomach, I'm going to sell it in the salon. So I'm like, fine. But I didn't go to be a good supportive friend. I went to show her that it couldn't possibly work. I told her, yeah, I'll try this. But I didn't even think I was paying for it. Like, I honestly thought I was going there and getting a wrap for free because she was trying to see if it really works. So when she turned around and looked for $25, I'm like, oh, I have to pay for this thing? This thing isn't going to work. But the results were incredible. So I became a loyal customer, and I found myself telling people, you've got to try this. Go to Danielle, get a wrap from Danielle. And before I knew it, I had sent 6 customers her way. And I'm like, wait a minute, I can pay for my own products if I join this business, and I can get 120 in free product just by getting a couple customers. So I wasn't looking for a business when I joined. I was just trying to pay for my own products. Well, I started posting on Facebook, and I did a party at my cousin's house, and everybody that was there signed up as a loyal customer. I made $250 in wrap cash because everybody wanted to try another one before their order came in. They had friends that couldn't make it. So I only had like 6 people there, but I made $250 in wrap cash. So I was like, maybe this could be more. But even at that point, I didn't think I'd ever have a team. I figured I could enroll customers, and I'm good at selling the products, but I never thought it would become a business. Well, those people that became my loyal customers were doing the same thing I did. They were telling people, hey, you got to try this. Go to Cyndi, get a wrap. And then the wheels started turning for them, and they're like, wait, instead of Cyndi making the money, I could make money with her. So I had never approached anyone and asked them to become a distributor or join my team, but it was the natural progression once they tried the products and they fell in love with them. So most of my team early on came from loyal customers. They'd be a customer for a month or 2, and then they'd reach out, and it just kept repeating over and over. They're like, hey, I want to do this with you. Hey, it looks like you're having fun. Let me do this with you. So I made it to Ruby pretty quickly, and that was just posting on Facebook and doing a couple wrap parties. Within my first couple months, both my account and my husband's account were Ruby, and we were making above average Ruby income, probably about $750 a month each. And I was pretty happy with that. I wasn't looking for anything. But then my husband was laid off, and I didn't want anyone to know he was out of work. And I looked down at my wrap bag, and I had panicked because I'm like, how am I going to pay the mortgage? I don't want to take money out of retirement accounts. He had worked for the same company for 21 years. So this was something so unexpected, and I really started to panic. So I looked at my wrap bag, and I saw that I had 40 wraps in there. Because back then I was running an auto ship for myself of 2 boxes of wraps, an auto ship for him, 2 boxes of wraps. And every time I earned a wrap reward, I cashed it in right away. I don't know if I was afraid it was going to disappear or what, but I had 40 wraps sitting in my bag. So I'm like, all right, let me turn this into half of my mortgage payment. Let me wrap people. But I still didn't want anyone to know he was out of work. So what I did was I posted looking for people to have wrap parties, but I also reached out to people that had asked about the wraps but never ordered them. And I said, hey, you know, I know you had been interested in these wraps before. How about we get together 4 or 5 friends, and if you have them over to get wrapped, they'll pay $25 each. You'll get yours for free. So I had a whole bunch of people say yes, just because I was asking them, you know, here's a chance for you to try it for free. Well, I want to say it was 4 or 5 days into the month, I realized I had to order more wraps because I was selling that many. I did one party that had 16 people at it, and I did, I think, 19 wraps that night. A couple people did their legs. It was crazy. I never recommend having parties that big. My happy number is like 4 to 6, but I walked out of there with hundreds and hundreds of dollars in cash. And I brought it home to my husband. I'm like, look what I just did. He's like, oh, you could do one of those every single night. So that month I booked myself solid. I ended up wrapping enough people to make $1,925 in wrap cash. But the other thing was I was enrolling customer after customer after customer, and these were all people that I didn't know. So I had one friend, and when I went to her house to do this wrap party, I was meeting 4 or 5 or 6 new friends. So I didn't even realize that I was expanding my network. This was just about me making wrap cash. I wasn't even thinking about the residual income that was going to come from these customers or the new friendships that I was going to make. Well, over the next 2 months or next 3 months from then, I went diamond. I got my husband to diamond. I got myself to double diamond, and then I got him to double diamond. And it was all from that crazy month of me pushing myself. I never would have reached out to people the way I did and asked them, hey, do you want to get a couple people together? Because now you could try the wrap for free. But it was the fear that I had in me of how was I going to pay that mortgage that pushed me to expand my network. And I had no idea what I was doing. But I look at my team now and I can tie people back to like different times. And I'm like, wow, I never would have known her if I didn't do that wrap party, or if I didn't push myself to do that bridal show. I was meeting new people and expanding my network, and that's how I grew. So that's how I got myself to double, and my husband to double. That was all Facebook and in-person parties. And I realized that in person was really my strength, that I was getting a lot of people interested on Facebook. But once I got in front of them, that's when they ordered. So instead of having my conversations drag on for months, like, you know, that can happen. Once I got in front of people, it was like, boom, you know, here you go. One of the girls at the wrap party, I'll never forget, she had to leave early because she had to pick up her son. So that was the party that had too many people at it. She didn't get to place her order, but I had talked to her for 3 months about trying the wraps. And it wasn't until she showed up at somebody else's party that she tried them. Well, 2 weeks later, she reached out to me and said, I want to place the order. What's your website? I gave it to her. Still no order. 4 days later, I'm at a street fair. She walked up to me with her hand out, credit card in her hand. She's like, I can't figure out your website. I need you to place this order for me. So she wanted it, and here she had wanted it for months, but it just took being in front of me for her to close that sale. So for me, that's my strength. You have to find your own strength to see what works, but definitely for me, in person is a strength. So like I said, that got me to double. And that was middle of 2014, like May 2014, my husband promoted. Well, then I realized that summer was hitting and people were getting busy. They were going on vacations. My team wasn't enrolling like they had been. And the summer before, it was my first summer. So I didn't know that people get busy. I was on fire myself, and my new people were on fire. And that's what happens in the summers. The new people don't know. They're still so excited. They're still so new. So they push themselves because they want to reach new levels. And the newer people will keep pushing and keep growing in the summer. But here I was with people that were not enrolling like they used to, and just, you know, taking 2 weeks to go to Hawaii. And I thought, wow, what's going on? And I was also starting to get sick. I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I was spending a lot of time at home, a lot of time in bed. It turns out that I have celiac disease, but I didn't know that I needed to be eating gluten-free. I didn't know that I had celiac at the time. And I was on antibiotics every 3 weeks for sinus infections. And I literally spent that entire summer on my couch. But I wasn't going to let my business slide because I wasn't feeling good. So that's when I turned to Instagram. I had seen that some other leaders were doing really well with Instagram. And I figured there's got to be something. I could figure this out. And I was ignorance on fire. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just following people, following. My feed, I just scrolled back to show somebody the way it used to look. It was awful. It was spammy. It was everything that they tell you not to do, but it actually worked for me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I was following a lot of people that were following business accounts, so they were used to seeing business type ads, but I was doing really, really well with it. And I got myself to triple using Instagram. During that whole time, life happened. I started gaining weight when I was laying on the couch that whole summer. Then my husband got a job in Georgia. We're here in New Jersey. And he was leaving me every Monday. And at first, he would stay away for 12 days at a time. And then it was every Monday, coming home every Friday. So it was a big change for us because he had never traveled for work before. And now he was gone all the time. My son was graduating high school and leaving me to go to Boston for college. And it was like just me and my daughter left here. She was always with her friends. Like, I got into a really bad funk. So I turned to food, and it was gaining a lot of weight. And I was hiding. I didn't want to do wrap parties. I didn't want to be out in public. I didn't want to go to dinner at a friend's house because I didn't want anybody to see how much weight I had gained. Then I went on the It Works cruise. I still was working my business enough to earn my way onto both cruises. I went on the It Works cruise and I hid. I was in very few pictures the whole time. I was at my highest weight ever. I was just so embarrassed of where I had gotten to. And I felt like, how could I sell these products feeling the way that I felt about myself? I still had people ordering, but I wasn't putting myself out there. I didn't want to meet with people in person. And I knew if I did meet with them in person, they'd be ordering from me. Well, when I got back from the cruise, 2 or 3 days later, I decided to get consistent with the products. I had them all here. I'd been ordering them every month. My auto ship stayed the same for a really long time, and I wasn't using them. I was really good on Mondays. Every Monday I would take the products. But then by Monday afternoon, Tuesday, I was back to eating ice cream. I was carb addicted. I was living on everything that you shouldn't be eating. And I was really, really in a bad place. So I decided I'm going to take my supplements every day and I'm going to give keto a try. So that was mid-November. And by January 1st, I was down 22 pounds. So I was using It's Vital Core greens and probiotic. I felt incredible, and I started sharing my weight loss journey. So that was what re-sparked me, and it gave me the confidence again. Even when I was sharing, I lost 6 pounds this week. I'm down 18 pounds now, and I see it when it comes up in my time hop. People were supporting me all along, but people were reaching out to me even when I was just at the very beginning of that journey. You don't have to be this success story with the products. You don't have to be down at your ultimate weight. You just have to be on a journey, and people want to join you. So I had people reaching out to me, asking me for help getting started on keto, asking me what supplements I'm using, because they were starting to diet and they weren't having the same results I was. So fast forward, I am down 74 pounds in 10 months with keto and those 3 products. This was before keto coffee came out. So I was super excited when we started with the keto line because it was already, my favorite thing. And the more things I can have to go along and market along with my keto lifestyle, the better. But I lost 74 pounds in 10 months and I've kept it off for 9. That is bigger than losing. I've done Weight Watchers before. I'm a lifetime member, but I never maintained. I never learned with any weight loss journey I ever had, I never learned how to maintain. I was either losing or gaining. There was nothing in between. I look back to my first picture with Sarah. I met her for the first time on the first It Works cruise, and I'm so embarrassed of who I was and where I was. And that was me for so long. And that's something that my friends and followers all see because they watch me. They watch me through that whole journey. But now they trust me. They know that I've been through what they've been through. I have some notes. Let me just look real quick because I know I skipped over a bunch of things. So like I did say, you don't have to be at your ideal weight. You don't have to, you hold yourself back when you think, you know, I'm heavier than I was before. This isn't, you know, how could I sell weight loss products when I'm not, you know, thin? You don't have to be thin. You just have to be trying. You just have to be on a journey. You just have to have something that you're passionate about. So I'm passionate about the products for weight loss, but I've also always been passionate about Confianza. It helps me more than anything I had ever tried before. I have ADD. I was not diagnosed as a kid. I just kind of suffered through with it. I didn't find out until I was an adult that I have it. And my husband points it out like every day. But Confianza really, really helps me focus. But I had tried prescription stuff for anxiety before, and I didn't like the way it made me feel. I didn't like feeling dopey. So I always share how Confianza helps me. And I was selling Confianza like crazy, even during that time when I felt I couldn't put myself out there as, you know, a weight loss expert if I was sitting home eating ice cream. And I literally was sitting home eating ice cream all the time. So if you're, you know, if you're not trying to lose weight, that's not your thing. You need to know what you're good at, what your strengths are, and what you're passionate about. So I'm really passionate about keto, and any of my friends know I love jazzercise. Back when I did Weight Watchers, I would pull people in to do Weight Watchers with me because things like that are better when you're with a friend. So one of the things that I've noticed now is as I'm helping people with keto and get started on a weight loss journey with keto, they're bringing friends to me. So I've done, because like I told you, my strength is in person. I've done a couple keto classes at my house. So I made a couple of my favorite things. I make these keto bagels, and once people try them, they're like, oh, I think I could do this. I think I could try this way of eating. That doesn't taste bad. So I'll usually make a couple different things for them to come sample. But what I found is it helps my team. People that are looking to try it, they'll come, but they'll bring a friend for support. So now they've got a new customer. Just this last one that I did a few weeks ago, I had a girl come, and she's one of those life of the party girls, you know, she wanted everyone's attention. She kept interrupting the whole time. She's like, oh, I need some of that. I need some of that. And it was not a wrap party. I wasn't talking products. 95% of the party was me talking about keto and the way to get started. And the natural progression, people ask me, well, what supplements did you use? What products do you recommend? Well, this girl kept interrupting, like, I want that, I want this, I heard you have this product. So at the end of the party, I didn't know this girl. She came with one of her friends. I found out that two of her friends that were at my party, they were old distributors that gave up a long time ago. They've been friends with her the whole time they were working the business. They could not get this girl to become a customer. But here she came to my party. She heard my story. And because we were in person and she trusted me, she spent $150 that night. Her sister-in-law and her best friend could not get her to order because they didn't go about it the right way. They didn't know what to suggest to her. So she weighs 350 pounds. And she's like, oh, those wraps won't work. This won't work. That won't work. And I'm like, just trust me. You're not just placing an order with me. I'm going to help you with keto the whole way. Every day you're going to check in with me. You're going to ask me anything you need to. You're getting my support. Well, she's been doing it for 3 weeks, and she's down 25 pounds. Like 25 pounds in 3 weeks. When I shared that she was down like 17 or 18 pounds last week, we're doing it anonymously. She's not ready to let people know what she's doing because she's embarrassed of her size right now. And she's, you know, she's afraid of what people are going to think. But when I shared that she was down 17 or 18 pounds since coming to my keto class, I had 5 other people reach out to me. They're like, I must be doing something wrong. I've been trying this and I'm not losing, you know, I'm only down 2 pounds in 3 weeks. And, you know, what supplements is she using? What's that girl using? So just sharing someone else's story is helping to get more people to reach out. Let me just see. There's something else I wanted to share. So mainly, I enroll my customers from sharing my results and building new relationships. So I'm constantly adding new people, whether it's on Instagram. I'm trying to find my groove on Instagram again. So I told you, I knew I skipped part of my story. So I tried to change my Instagram. I wanted to be like everyone else. Everyone said, I should have a pretty feed and, I shouldn't post the products too much. It should not look like what I had. Well, it wasn't natural to me. And every time I went to post something, I would just stop. I would stop in my tracks because it wasn't me. I didn't know what to post. I couldn't post pictures of manicures and flowers, and that just wasn't me. So I had to find my own way. And now that I found my own way, I have no problem. I go to Instagram, I post it. I go to Instagram and I post. But when I was trying to be somebody else, it just wasn't working for me. That whole time that I ran my Instagram to get myself from double to triple, I didn't send a single message. So the posts that I was putting out there were enough to get people to message me. But one of the other things I did, and I don't know at what point you're at in your business, but I felt like I was going to invest in doing a wrap giveaway. So when I was going, I guess it was double to triple, I had done a daily wrap giveaway. I did it most days, not all the time. And I was very picky and choosy who won. Someone I already had a conversation with. Yeah, I know if they get this wrap on their body, they're going to order. So they would be my winner. Or if I saw somebody interacting with me a lot, even if we didn't have a conversation, I would pick and choose who did I want to try the wrap and who was going to, take that next step. Because it was a way for me to meet more people that were across the country that I wasn't able to wrap in person. Because we know if somebody puts the wrap on their body, they're going to see results, they're going to want more. And either they're going to want more and become a customer, or they're going to become a distributor. But we know the best way to get somebody to order wraps is to see the results for themselves. So for every person that you have out there that wouldn't spend $25 for one wrap when they can get 4 for $59, there are a bunch out there that would not spend $59 on 4 until they tried one to see that it worked. So I would do, I would try to get as many local people as possible to wrap for $25, or I would do the wrap giveaways for the people far away. But what I found was when a sale came out, when I would post about BOGO, I had people going to my site right away placing orders. And I'm like, oh, she was a winner. Oh, she was a winner. And I had them in my phone. I tried to get them from Instagram over to text. Anyone that won, I'm like, okay, here, text me. I just feel like once you get them out of Messenger and into text, it's a different relationship. I don't know if any of you feel that way, but I really do. I also like getting them from Instagram to Facebook because for me, I know Facebook is my strength. Even though I've had times where Instagram was my strength, right now, Facebook's my strength. So back to that, I would put them in my phone as winner so-and-so. So when we had a promotion or something come up, I just had to pull up winner, and I went through everyone in there that was winner to let them know, hey, you really liked that wrap when you tried it. Now they're on sale. And I had people become distributors when we had kit sales just because they had tried a free wrap. I always go back to one period of time. So when I was going triple and I was pushing and pushing, it was a lot on Instagram. I had all these people that weren't jumping and taking the order. And I was starting to panic towards the end of that month thinking, oh, is this going to happen? Or, am I going to miss it? And I was like 4 or 5 days away from the deadline. And I was thinking, is this really going to happen? And it did happen. Well, the next month they announced a BOGO sale, like third weekend. Let me backtrack a second. So that was April. I do taxes, and April is crazy when you do taxes. So I hardly posted on Facebook or Instagram for the whole first 2 weeks of April. So here this wrap sale comes up and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I haven't been posting for like 2.5 weeks. Who's gonna order? Well, all those people that I've been building relationships from January, February, March, I placed 26 new loyal customers during a 4-day sale. And it was all because of my work those months leading up to it. So it was all my consistent work in January, February, and March, because if you looked at me in April, you would think I wasn't even a distributor. That's how bad it was. So where was I? I knew I skipped something. I'm like all over the place. I had good notes and then I never looked at them. So I said that I never messaged people back on Instagram back then when I was going triple. Now I will message people. But when I message people, it's about a recipe that they posted. I have never sent a message that says, I think you're pretty, I think you'd be good at doing this business with me, because that's not me. I'm not comfortable with that. And I would not feel comfortable doing it. And I know there are a lot of people that do that, but it's not something that I can get behind. And I know that if I'm not comfortable with something, I'm just going to stop. It's like when I was trying to change my Instagram and run my Instagram differently, I stopped. I went months without posting on Instagram because I was trying to be somebody I wasn't. So I send messages to people to keep the interaction up and to build a relationship. But if I see someone post a recipe, I'll ask them, hey, I saw you post that recipe for blah, blah, blah. Did you try it? Did you make any substitutions to it? So I try to find some kind of connection I have with them and just build a relationship, because that's what's comfortable for me. So I had a woman come over today. I met her on Instagram. I pulled her over to Facebook, and the relationships developed a lot more on Facebook. But she actually showed me, she's like, oh, I don't even know how we became friends. I don't know how we got connected, but we do have a lot of friends in common. She said, but look, I had this other rap girl the other day post and send this message. And it was something, she's like, I deleted her right away as soon as I saw this message, because the girl said how beautiful she was, but she doesn't post any pictures of herself on her Facebook. So she's like, who is beautiful? You've never seen me. I'm sorry, on her Instagram. There's no pictures of her on her Instagram, only on her Facebook. And this was on Instagram. The woman was telling her how beautiful she was. And she's like a 49-year-old woman who has not a single picture of her on there. So we found it a little funny. And I'm like, you have to find what's comfortable for you. Like I said, some people are really comfortable with sending those messages, but I'm not. I know one other way that people are really building right now is with host to post. I've done one. And the only reason I did it is because I had one of my loyal customers do a host to post for somebody else. And I thought, wait, maybe I'm missing out on something. But I didn't feel comfortable. I overthought it. I had the girl agree to do the host to post. I overthought it for weeks because I didn't know which product should I pick and which one should I talk about. And I'm green. I really, really overthought it. And I'm like, you know what? If every time I talk to someone about doing a host to post, if I'm going to do this, it's going to take me 6 hours a day just to get one post out there. I didn't feel comfortable. But what I like about host to post is it's expanding your network. So I decided I need to expand my network other ways. If I'm not willing to do that, I need to expand it different ways. So I'm helping other people with keto and asking them if they have any other friends that want to start following the ketogenic diet. Bring them over to my house when I do a keto class or I do an online keto class. I post on Instagram that I'm going to do a free keto class and ask people to ask me for an invite, and then I pull them into Facebook. So that's how this woman came to my house today, because I had pulled her in from the online keto class I was doing. So what I did is I took a lot of information from our new website, the Start Keto Today. I took a lot of information from there. I made up about 10 posts that give people the basics of how to get started with keto. And then I go live like a half hour in just to talk about my journey and answer questions they have. And for me, that works. So if you don't follow keto, you're not interested in keto, don't try to become the keto queen, because you're not going to be comfortable. You're not going to stick with it. I saw there was a message that popped up. I want to just check here. Good question. So I don't know if everybody could see this. Kiana's asking, do you keep track in any way of people you make a connection with on Instagram? Yes. And actually what I'm using right now, I just started using it about a month ago, and I'm actually really liking it a lot. It's called Teamzy. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. Nobody? All right. So Sarah's shaking her head. So Teamzy, they give you a 30-day free trial, and I'm just finishing my trial. But what it is you sign up for Teamzy. You can import your Facebook friends into there. So I was able to download my friends list, import it into there, and it tells you if you want to make $10,000 a month, you need to connect with this many people per day, this many customers per day, so existing customers, this many distributors per day, and you need to add this many new people per day. So what I do is I've already got all my Facebook friends in there, but anyone that I talk to on Instagram and have a connection with, I'll add them in there. So now I know who to follow up with. So it lets you flag in there when you want to follow up with someone. So if I have a conversation, for example, I just sent out a ton of samples of the keto energy. So anybody I sent a sample to, I logged in there that I connected with them, and it keeps track of what you did and what your conversations were. Like, you could just click on there and say you sent somebody a Facebook message. You don't have to put details in. But if you want to make a note to yourself, sent keto energy sample today, you can have that right there. What I'll do is I'll put 4 days or 6 days later to follow up, because I want to make sure they got the sample. Did they try it? What did they think? So I've only been using it. Today's my 30th day. I think my free trial ends today. My follow-up game has been on point right now because I'm not missing anything. So I put in there when I want to follow up with a loyal customer. I've put on there when I'm going to follow up with a prospect because we had a talk about the products and they were going to check out my website. I put it, 2 days later to follow up with them and see, hey, did you have a chance to look over the products? What did you think? Did you have any questions? Just normal follow-up stuff, but it's really made a difference for me because I used to write down Instagram people on paper, and I'm still finding papers from like 4 years ago that I misplaced back then. So for me, this is working. I know that It Works is coming out with like this supersized app for us. I don't know when it's coming out, but they're going to have something that's like Teamzy in there, but I don't know anything. They were just asking us, what do you like of these certain apps? Because we're making a new app, and what would you name it? So I don't know if it's coming out at green carpet or if we could possibly get it sooner, but for me, it's working. The other thing with Teamzy is it tells you who to interact with. So it's going alphabetically, but it tells you if you want to make as much as you want to make, you have to interact with 20 people a day. So whether you're sending them a message or writing on their wall or whatever you're doing, but it's forcing me to interact with more people, and I'm starting to see different people in my Facebook feed. So like I said, most of this is Facebook for me right now, what I'm using Teamzy for, but I'm adding anybody new that I really have a connection with on Instagram right in there. All right. Does anybody else have questions? Or Sarah, Liz, do you have anything?
Yeah, Cyndi, I just want to say, Teamzy is just on your computer, right? It's not an app.
So it's not an app, but
Okay.
you can use it on your phone. So I can use it. I use it on my phone sometimes. I like using it on the computer so I don't have to flip from place to place. But it can be used right in your browser on your phone. The only thing, you do need the computer to be able to download the friends list to import it, because you can't download the friends list to your phone.
Do you follow locally on purpose? I know like you're talking about how you do the keto classes online and in person. Do you like have a way that you follow locally to find people close to you, or no?
I will. When I'm on Instagram, I'll do it by location. And I'll even do it like when I'm out. So my daughter had to take a test a couple towns over. And while she was in there taking the test, I was hanging out in the car. So I was like, all right, what are places local to this town? And I was finding different places. I always joke that when I first started, I thought, okay, when I told you I was ignorance on fire with Instagram. So I'm like, all right, let me go to Zumba and follow their followers. Let me go to Weight Watchers and follow their followers. Well, that was like the worst thing to do, because every other It Works distributor thought of doing that. And when you went to those people's pages, it said, no wraps, no shakes. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is the wrong thing to do. But then I started doing it by town. So if people hashtag their town, or one day I ended up finding this rib place, barbecue ribs. It's like 2 or 3 towns over. And I'm like, oh, so if the people, that go to this restaurant, the people that are following this restaurant must live close by, let me follow their followers. So I did that. I went down and I followed all 97 of their followers. Well, then I took a nap, because this was that summer that I was feeling like crap all summer. I took a nap and I woke up and somebody ordered retail 2 boxes of wraps from my website. while I was napping. So I'm like, oh, let me look up her name on Instagram and see, how I connected with her. The girl likes ribs. She wasn't following Weight Watchers. She wasn't posting about a weight loss journey. She liked Big Ed's barbecue, and because she liked ribs, she bought 2 boxes of wraps, and I made $80. So I was like, don't overthink it. You just have to meet more people. You don't have to find the perfect person. You just have to find people. I always taught my team when they were looking for people to follow on Instagram, don't think of the regular places that other distributors are thinking of. You want to think of those random places like Big Ed's barbecue, because I was probably the first person that she came in contact with that was posting about the wraps. You don't want to be one of 45 distributors following somebody. You want to be that one person that they never heard of it before. And there are so many people out there that have no idea what this is. I was helping move my girlfriend in the other day, and I have the logo on my back window. The R fell off my name right now, so I'm Cyndi Yan, and people are making fun of me, but my husband threw a snowball and knocked the R right off. He's in trouble for that. But anyway, this couple came up to me and said, what is that? They thought I was the realtor that sold her house, and I'm like, no, it's weight loss, it's body wraps, and I went through the whole thing. They had never heard of us. And I'm like, here, just 1 mile away from my house, there are people that still have no idea what this is. Any more questions? I love questions.
I don't have any questions right now. I know, I hate when it's just silent. Does anybody? If there's no questions, we can wrap it up.
I guess so. I just have one question, and I'm like so intrigued by like keto class. Do you do that as like a party type thing online, and just, I know you said like you do the 10 posts, but is it just like an event? Like that's such a good idea.
I did it as an event, and I could share the link with you. I'll message you the link because the party's still up, even though it was like 2 weeks ago. But what I found is that it's helping me to build my network, because not only am I converting somebody from Instagram onto Facebook. So for me, Facebook is definitely a much warmer market than Instagram. So when I get a good connection on Instagram, I want to convert them to Facebook. So I'm getting them on Facebook, but then they're inviting their friends that have talked about keto. So now I'm friending their friends. So I'm meeting more people just by doing that class. Let me see. Any advice for building your team and building strong leadership? I think that comes up a lot. Definitely helping your team find why they're doing this, what's driving them, what do they need. I think building the relationship with them helps, but also knowing what they're looking to get out of this. You can push an executive right out of the business because you're trying to make them a diamond. You want to find out what somebody wants. What are they looking for? What's their commitment level? And that definitely helps. I have a girl who, she was trying to compare herself to other people, other sidelines on our team. And she was trying to be something she wasn't. She was adding new friends, something she wasn't comfortable with. She was just adding strangers from like all over the place. And it was something she wasn't comfortable doing. But she was also trying to reach ranks that she really didn't care about. She forgot that she loves the products and she loves helping people. So she's gone back to, standing behind her chair. She's a hairdresser, helping people with the products. She's got people ordering all the time. She was trying to be something she wasn't. And if I would have kept pushing her the way things worked for other people, it would have pushed her out of the business. She almost quit because she didn't feel like herself anymore. I said, well, wait a minute. What do you like about the business? What do you want to get out of the business? And let's make that work. And she's like, I'm so glad I didn't quit. I love helping people. I would have stopped helping people. I would have missed out on helping people if I would have let, my fear of adding strange people on Facebook stop me. So as far as building strong leadership, I think it's just something that I've mirrored, that people see when they have new distributors, how I train somebody and how I walk them through their first conversations. Like, I don't want to do everything for them. Let's do it together so you can help train your distributor, and it just duplicates from there. Speaking of leadership, I do have a triple diamond on my team who's in the top 100. I met her. She enrolled with somebody that I had enrolled, but I met her enroller at a wrap party, and it was a wrap party I didn't want to do. My cousin had asked me, would I do a bridal party? They were going out to a bachelorette party at night. Would I come and wrap them? So I went there, I wrapped them, but it was like a Saturday in the middle of the day. I didn't want to do it. I went, and I learned that anytime I don't want to do something, something really good always comes out of it. So here I went, I did that party. Some of the girls were pregnant, so they couldn't wrap. And I'm like, well, what am I here for? So I walked away with a little bit of wrap cash, not much. One loyal customer, but that loyal customer became a distributor 2 months later. She went Ruby really, really fast. She enrolled the triple diamond that's on my team, and my business has flourished because of that. So I always look back to, I never would have met this girl if I didn't do that bridal wrap party. It never would have happened. So you never know who you're going to meet, how you're going to meet them. So if you're not an in-person person and that's not comfortable for you, you have to find what way is comfortable for you. How are you going to build your network? How are you going to meet more people?
I love what you said. I just want to like touch on that. What you said about like, you have to kind of remind them like, oh geez, sorry, dropping a minute, of like why somebody started. Cause I feel like that's so important. Like whenever you like are having a down day, or like, you just have to figure out what makes this fun for you and like why you started. Like, cause there's so many other factors. People quit. You have people on your team quit. You have somebody say, oh, well, this didn't work for me. Or just, I feel like you just have to always go back to like, you and why you started and like what pushes you to keep going.
Right.
And I love that you keep saying that your loyal customers became distributors and that's how your business grew, because I think that so many people focus like, oh, I can't sign distributors, I can't sign distributors, and they become so focused on that they forget that it's so important. Like, loyal customers are the heartbeat of our business, and most of the time your best distributors are going to be loyal customers at one point. So I love that, like absolutely love that. I am like, my cup is so filled up.
I'll never forget, I kept coming home that month that I went crazy with all those wrap parties. I kept coming home with 4 loyal customers, 4 loyal customers, 4 loyal customers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I had a new distributor sign, that's their 120 and free products right there. Like, because it was 120 back then. And I kept saying over and over, I'm like, every time I come home, 4 more customers, 4 more customers. My husband's like, don't get upset. I'm like, I can't sign a distributor. So that month I didn't sign a single distributor. But what do you think those customers became? They became distributors. But it was frustrating because they had a promotion that it was called Christmas Cash. So if you did the steps to success, you got a $500 bonus. So if you sign 3 distributors and 4 loyal customers, you'd get a $500 bonus. And here, I could have done that over and over and over again. And I'm like, where are the distributors? But then the next month, they came.
I just want to say about that too, like you have to like, you're planting the seeds for stuff that comes later. So I feel like Joel has said it before, like the stuff that you're doing this month is going to pay off in 3 months. So like, don't feel like, oh, well, I'm not signing anybody or nothing's happening. It's like all those conversations, all those friends you're adding, all those posts, and now these new people are seeing those posts. So it's like, I definitely think for all new people, and I do have a new distributor on here, like people get really discouraged in the beginning. They can, some people don't. She's already doing great. She already thinks she's a potential customer after 3 hours. But like, you do have to, like, you're brand new. So all your followers could have never even heard of this before. And I do love what you said about that. Like, there's people who've never even heard about this, and about not like just following Weight Watchers people, or, you know, that sort of follow different people. Like, that's super, super important.
Yeah. I know when I first started, because I wasn't looking, I didn't think it could be a business. I told my girlfriend, nobody makes that kind of money. You'll be lucky if you get there. And I pointed to Ruby. And a month and a half later, I was there. So I was like, oh, wait, maybe this could be a real business. But I pointed to Ambassador, and I'm like, there's probably only one person, and it's the owner's daughter that makes that kind of money. But then I started realizing, you know, there really were people making real money with this business, and there was something. So because I wasn't expecting a huge amount of money, I think it was easy for me to to do the work because I was only expecting a little bit. I think expectations are huge. When people first get started and they're, expecting to make $500 a month on month one, they give up before month two if they don't make that $500. I made $500 my second month. And that was including fast start bonuses, but I was impressed by that. Whereas if you're, so driven by the money, you can forget that it's a process. And I can tell you right now, the first month, did I work more than what my commission was? Yes. But after that, I worked a lot less. I mean, I've had so many months. I've had so many things happen in my life. I mean, me laying around on the couch feeling sick for a whole summer, having my husband go to Atlanta, and I went to a single mom running around all the time. You know how hard it is when you're in the car 24/7 to try to post something on social media when that's, the only way you're building your business at that time. I had all of these times in my life. My grandmother was sick and passed away. And over a 4-month period, I was getting in the car and going back and forth to Delaware to see her. And I was able to sit there and spend all that time with her. And I still collected a nice paycheck. So you have to just trust the process that you're going to put in more work for a certain period of time, but that's going to carry you through. And that's what's going to get you through the times that you can't put that crazy amount of work in. So like I had said before, I do taxes. And I had thought when I first, my first like promotion season when I was going diamond and double diamond on my account and my husband's account, I thought I was going to give up doing taxes. But I realized that it's a short period of time. I expand my network at the tax desk every single day. And those people that I've been doing taxes for so many years trust me. So every single year I get customer after customer from sitting at my desk. I get distributors from sitting at that desk. So it'd be silly for me to give that up. But it's also a little harder for me to be consistent at that time. And I've had years that I was really consistent and I, get up and walk to the printer and put 2 posts on Instagram and, go back and get back to my client. But this year, I wasn't that consistent then. So I knew in April when tax season ended that it was going to take me a little while before I got that consistency back and before I had the people reaching out like they were before. I was still enrolling customers during tax season, but I wasn't enrolling as many as I could have been if I was consistent. So with this business, consistency is key. Posting and reaching out to people and adding new people, you have to keep doing it no matter how you feel. You can't work this business based on feelings and the way you feel, because this business will take care of you if you take care of it. You have to give it that time and attention. And my husband said to me not too long ago, I guess it was still like during tax season, he threw the word hobby. And I'm like, what? This is not a hobby. Don't say it's a hobby. But he said it was a hobby because he said that's the way I was treating it. And I'm like, oh, no. So that's when I got consistent again, because I realized he was right. I wasn't giving it the time and attention that it deserves. And you don't have to work it 12 hours a day, but you have to consistently give it the time.
I love that. I just wrote that down. This business will take care of you if you take care of it. Yes, that's wonderful. That's awesome.
I couldn't ask. I mean, I was so grateful sitting there with my grandmother in her last few weeks, being able to just pick up and go and pick up and go. And I mean, I couldn't imagine asking for that much time off from a job.
Yeah. We did have one more question.
Oh, sorry. I know all time frames are individual, but is there an average time frame, like one promotion a month? It's really all over the place. Like I said, I made it to Ruby in my second month, but not everybody does. It all depends on if you're enrolling people that want something out of this as well. You may have people that enroll, bless you. You may have people that enroll that aren't interested in making this a business, and to them it's a hobby, and they just want to get a couple customers and get some free product. And working with that, it would take you a little bit longer if you have a bunch of people like that. Not everybody's going to see the vision, and not everybody's going to trust the process to give it a couple months. But you never know when that one person is going to change your whole business. So here, when I was going from double diamond to triple, I thought that I was going to help my mother get to double. And that girl that's my triple diamond on my team, she joined the team and she got herself to double. It was like, whoa, I don't have to do anything with that leg anymore. I don't have to, be the one to push those people. I can concentrate on my other two legs to get them where they needed to be. So you never know when that one person's going to change it. Are there any other questions? No?
Well, thank you so much for doing this for us. I have like a full page of notes. I'm so that you took your time. So I really appreciate you and your time tonight. Thank you.
I'm glad I was able to hop on. I sat down like 2 hours ago to make my notes, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to say.
It was perfect. Everything was perfect.
It's so easy. Oh, I know there's one other thing I wanted to close with. It's so easy to get caught up in the comparison game. Don't look at anybody else. If I let that get to me, there are people that are Ambassador Diamond that went Ambassador before I hit my 2-year mark that enrolled the same month as me. Mm-hmm. Well, I would have missed out on hundreds of thousands of income if I would have let that bother me. I see that there are people out there enrolling more than me, but you know what? I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy where I'm at. My kids are grown. My daughter's 17, my son's 20. I'm going to be downsizing. Like, I'm not looking to build a new house, the house that Rap's built. I have to remind myself that, yeah, what she has is nice, but I don't need that. That's not me. I'm happy with, buying my truck and paying it off, and that's good enough. You just have to get out of that comparison trap, because it really is easy. I look at people that are enrolling, crazy amounts of customers, 60 customers from doing host to host. I'm not comfortable doing it. I can't expect the same. But I know that what I do is helping a lot of people, and I'm enrolling a lot of people, and they're losing weight, and that's enough to keep me happy. I don't need 60 loyal customers a month. I couldn't keep track of them all.
Me either. Any other questions or comments?
No. I just wanted to say thank you, Cyndi, for doing this.
You're welcome.
Super excited, and I was super excited, and I'm very thankful that you did this for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm happy. Like I said, I was happy I could do it. You guys didn't get my hair done. I'm going tomorrow to get my magic sleek done, so there was no way I was blowing my hair out tonight. I'm like, nope.
I'm going to the gym tomorrow morning, so no, nothing. We're not doing anything with my hair tonight.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna end the recording, guys.